Let me offer you a bet that sounds completely, almost insultingly fair. How about one ordinary coin? Heads on one side, tails on the other. Nothing on my sleeve. Here's the game. We each pick a little pattern, 3 flips in a row. Maybe you call heads, heads, heads. Maybe I call something else. Then I just start flipping, and flipping, and flipping. The moment your pattern shows up, 3 flips in a row matching your call, you win. If my pattern shows up first, I win. Same coin, same flips. We're both just waiting for our turn to come up. And to be a real gentleman about it, I'll even let you choose your pattern first. Sounds like a coin flip, right? Sounds like pure luck. It isn't. I will win this bet almost every single time. And the reason is one of the strangest little facts in all of probability. Let's nail down the rules because everything hinges on them. The coin is honest. Every flip is 50-50, totally independent. No tricks there, I promise. Each of us locks in one sequence of 3, some mix of heads and tails. Then we flip the coin over and over, building one long running stream of results. We're watching that stream for the first time. Any player's 3 in a row appears. Whoever's pattern surfaces first in the stream, that player takes the pot. That's the whole game. 1 coin, 2 patterns, a race to appear first. And notice what makes it feel so fair. It's the same stream of flips for both of us. We're not playing separate games. We're both fishing in the exact same river. The only thing we each control is which 3 flip pattern we're fishing for. Now, your instinct is screaming that this has to be fair. Let me show you why that instinct is so seductive. Take any single pattern, say heads, heads, heads. If I flip the coin 3 times right now, what's the chance I get exactly that? 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. 1 in 8. And here's the thing. Every 3 flip pattern has that same 1 in 8 chance. 3 heads, 1 in 8. 2 heads and a tail, 1 in 8. Every one of the 8 patterns exactly the same. So they're all equally likely. Completely, perfectly equal. Which means, surely, whoever's pattern shows up first is just a coin toss. 50-50. A fair fight. That is the trap. It feels airtight, and it is dead wrong. Because how likely is this pattern in 3 flips is not the question the game is asking. Here's the move your brain skips. We don't flip the coin 3 times and stop. We flip it forever until somebody wins. So the question was never, how likely is your pattern in 3 flips? The real question is, in one long, endless stream of flips, whose pattern tends to show up first? And that is a completely different animal. Because patterns don't just sit there waiting politely for their turn. They lurk inside the stream. They overlap. They can block each other. One pattern can sit like an ambush, right in the path the other one has to travel. So your pattern and my pattern aren't really independent at all. They prey on each other. And once you can pick second, you can pick the predator. Okay, let's actually play, and let me put you on the spot. You go first like the gentleman I am, I insisted. And let's say you pick the cleanest, strongest looking pattern there is. Heads, heads, heads. 3 heads in a row. It feels powerful. It feels like a winner. Now it's my turn. I get to see your choice and then pick mine. So here's the question for you. Pause the video and really think. First, which pattern should I choose to beat your 3 heads? And second, the scary one. How badly can I beat you? 1 in 3? Even money? Worse? Lock in your 2 guesses. The pattern and the odds. Got them? Good. Because the answer is going to feel like cheating. Watch what I do. You picked heads, heads, heads. I'm going to pick the same ending, heads, heads, but I'm going to stick a tail on the front. Tails, heads, heads. That one little tail changes everything. Let me show you why. Think about how your 3 heads can ever appear in the stream. For 3 heads to land, you first need 2 heads in a row to show up somewhere. So look at the flip sitting right before that pair of heads. What was it? Well, it wasn't a head, because if it were, the 3 in a row would have already happened earlier. So the flip before your 2 heads is either nothing at all, the stream just started, or it's a tail. And nearly every time, it's a tail. But a tail, followed by 2 heads, is my pattern. Tails, heads, heads. Do you see it? My pattern is hiding in the doorway your pattern has to walk through. Almost every time you're about to get your 3rd head, my tail heads heads is already completed 1 step earlier. I don't beat your pattern. I ambush it on the way in. But wait, you say, what if there's no tail in front? What if the very first flips are heads? You're right. There's exactly one way you survive. If the coin opens with heads, heads, heads right off the bat, the first 3 flips, there's no room for my tail to sneak in front. You win clean. But how often does the stream open with 3 heads in a row? 1 in 8. That's it. Every other way the game can go, a tail shows up before your run of heads is complete, and that tail is the front door of my pattern. So you win in that one lucky 1 in 8 opening, and I win the other 7 times out of 8. 7-1. Against the pattern that felt the strongest. Did your guess come anywhere close? Most people say maybe 60-40. It's 7-1. Now you might think that was a fluke of picking 3 heads. It wasn't. There's a recipe discovered by the mathematician John Conway that beats any pattern you name. Whatever 3 flips you pick, I do 2 simple things. I take your middle flip and I flip it. Head becomes tail, tail becomes head. Then I jam that in front, slide your first 2 flips after it, and drop your last flip off the end. So your 3 heads, middle flip is a head, flip it to a tail, stick it on front, gives me tails, heads, heads. Exactly what we just did. Try another. You pick heads, tails, tails. I flip your middle tail to a head, put it in front, heads, heads, tails. And that beats you 2-1. It works on all 8 of your possible choices. There is no pattern you can name that I can't answer. You choose. I counter. I win. Every time. Let's lay it all out. Every pattern you could possibly pick and my answer to each. You pick 3 heads. I take it 7-1. You pick 3 tails. Same story, 7-1 the other way. You pick heads, heads, tails. I win 3-1. Tails, tails, heads, 3-1 again. And the rest, heads, tails, heads, heads, tails, 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 heads, heads, tails, heads, tails, I win 2-1. Look down that whole column. Every single one is in my favor. Not one row is even close to fair. The best you can ever do is lose 2-1. There is no safe pattern. There is no clever pattern. There is no best pattern to pick first. Whatever you choose, I have a winning answer ready. And that should bother you deeply, because it means this game has no top. So if there's no best pattern, what's actually going on here? It's the same shape as rock, paper, scissors. In rock, paper, scissors, rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, paper beats rock. Round and round. No move is the champion. Penny's game does the exact same thing. Pick any pattern and something beats it. Pick that something and a third pattern beats that. Keep going and you loop right back to the start. A pattern you already beat now beats you. Let me trace one loop so you can see the snake eat its tail. Heads, heads, tails loses to tails, heads, heads. Tails, heads, heads loses to tails, tails, heads. Tails, tails, heads loses to heads, tails, tails. And heads, tails, tails loses right back to heads, heads, tails where we started. A perfect circle. No king of the hill. Just a wheel. This is called being non-transitive. And it's exactly why going second is a superpower. You commit to a spot on the wheel. I just step one place behind you, where I always win. Don't take my word for it. Let's just play it out fast and watch. You're locked into 3 heads. I'm on tails, heads, heads. Same coin, same stream. Here comes a long run of flips, and we highlight each pattern the instant it completes. Watch how often my tailhead's heads, snaps, shut a beat before your run of 3 can finish. Game after game after game, racing past. And now, let's just tally it. 1,000 games, 10,000 games, the computer hammering it out. Your wins crawl along the bottom. Mine pile up. It settles right where the math promised. I take roughly 7 out of every 8. No sleight of hand. No lodith coin. Just a wheel with no top, and me standing one step behind you. So that's the hustle. A fair coin. An honest game. And it's still rigged in favor of whoever moves second. Because the question was never, how likely is your pattern? It was whose pattern shows up first in the stream, and patterns prey on each other. That cyclic, no best option weirdness isn't just a coin flip party trick. You can build dice that do the same thing. Efron's dice, where die 1 beats die 2 beats die 3, and die 3 beats die 1. Let your friend choose first, and you win. It shows up in voting, in sports matchups, anywhere better than refuses to line up in a neat ranking. And there's a life-sized lesson buried in it. The next time someone insists you choose first and grins and says how generous they're being, maybe ask yourself why they're so happy to let you go first. Here's one to chew on, down in the comments. What if I force you to pick 4 flip patterns instead of 3? Does going second still win? And what's the recipe then? Work it out and tell me below. I'll see you for the next bet. Bring a coin.